In the quiet embrace of Everdale's dawn, Alex stirred awake, greeted by the comforting, familiar chorus of birdsong and the soft golden hue spilling through the curtains. It was a morning like any other in the small town, where each day unwound predictably, safely. Alex's room, a sanctuary of teenagehood marked by posters of distant galaxies and worn-out novels, held no hint of the oddity that the day would unveil. As the morning ritual commenced stretching away the remnants of dreams, brushing teeth until the minty freshness jolted the senses awake, and slipping into the day's attire, there was an unspoken acknowledgement of the mundane. Breakfast was a silent affair, with family members exchanging tired glances and half-smiles, submerged in their own pre-coffee dazes. The world outside the kitchen window promised another uneventful day, or so it seemed, but the anomaly waited just beyond the threshold of routine. As Alex returned to their room to grab a backpack, the sight that unfolded snatched the breath right from their lungs. Thick twine strings, crisscrossed in a chaotic dance, ensnared the bedroom. They stretched from wall to wall, anchored with pins that had no business being there. The strings, with their inexplicable presence, cast long, twisted shadows, painting Alex's sanctuary in a light that was both alien and ominous. A mix of curiosity and trepidation propelled Alex forward. Fingers trembling, they reached out to touch the nearest string. It felt real, unmistakably so, against the expectation of a hallucination or a trick of the light. The impossibility of the situation bore down in silent, suffocating waves. Yet, the day beckoned with its relentless march forward, and with a heart caught between beats, Alex chose to untangle the path to the door, leaving the mystery of the strings momentarily behind. The surrealism did not end at the doorstep. Everdale, with its quaint houses and manicured lawns, was caught in the same web. Strings extended in all directions, enveloping cars, lampposts, and even the unsuspecting jogger, lost in the rhythm of morning exercise. No one seemed to notice the bindings that tethered them to an unseen will, their movements unaffected, their eyes blind to the absurdity. Confusion swirled within Alex like a tempest, drawing them deeper into the heart of the town. The school loomed ahead, its facade now marred by the strings that crawled over its bricks like ivy. Inside, the halls buzzed with the chatter of students, none of whom paid any mind to the new, bizarre decorations that dictated their paths. It was in this whirlpool of normalcy and nightmare that Alex found Jordan, their gaze locked not on a phone screen or a distant point in the hallway, but on the strings. Recognition flickered between them, a silent acknowledgement of the shared vision that isolated them from their peers. Together, they stepped outside the bounds of the scripted day, embarking on a journey to unravel the mystery of the strings. As Everdale shrank behind them, with every step away from the known, the weight of their quest grew heavier. The strings, with their silent, suffocating grip, seemed to mock their efforts to understand. But beneath the fear and the unanswered questions, a spark of defiance flickered to life, guiding Alex and Jordan into the unknown. In the shadow of Everdale's enigmatic strings, Alex and Jordan found solace in their shared awareness, their bond solidified by the unspoken pledge to seek answers. The world around them, once familiar and comforting, now felt like a labyrinth of unseen forces, with each thread weaving a narrative beyond their control. Their first experiment was simple yet daring, cutting a string. Armed with scissors, they snipped a thread tied to a park bench, watching with bated breath. The bench remained stubbornly inert, yet the passerby who once sat there daily now wandered aimlessly, a confusion mirrored in Alex and Jordan's eyes. The realization was chilling: these strings manipulated more than mere objects, they influenced destinies. Fooled by a mix of fear and determination, the duo embarked on a series of interventions across town. Each action, each severed string, unveiled the bizarre choreography of life in Everdale, orchestrated by an unseen maestro. The townsfolk, oblivious to their strings being cut, continued their lives, unmoored and adrift. This spectacle of autonomy and influence played out before Alex and Jordan, a silent testament to the string's power. The turning point came with the sighting of the imp, a creature as out of place in the suburban landscape as the strings themselves. It was a small, dark figure, moving with purpose, its bulbous yellow eyes scanning the environment, a ball of twine and hammer in hand. The encounter was surreal, a moment suspended in the twilight between reality and fantasy. Approaching the imp was a decision born from desperation. Its reaction to their presence, a mixture of surprise and curiosity, was eerily human. The communication was primitive, restricted to nods and head shakes. Yet it was enough to confirm the fears that had taken root in Alex and Jordan's minds. These strings were deliberate, a manipulation of life's fabric. The imp's silent acknowledgement of their questions painted a grim picture. Free will, the sacred belief that one's choices were entirely one's own, was now in question. The creature's inability to answer their most haunting inquiry if they, too, were under the string's influence left a void filled with dread. In the wake of this confrontation, the world seemed even more alien. Alex and Jordan found themselves isolated not by the secret they shared, but by the knowledge of how deep the manipulation ran. The strings, once a curious anomaly, now represented a cage of predetermined paths and choices. Their resolve, however, did not wane. Instead, it sharpened into a focused determination to find the source of the strings, to confront the architects of their fates. This decision, they were no longer mere observers, but actors on a stage, determined to reclaim their roles. As they ventured beyond the town's limits, the strings thinned, suggesting a boundary to the manipulation. Yet the path forward was fraught with uncertainty. Alex and Jordan, bound by their quest, stepped into the unknown, driven by the hope that beyond the strings, they might find the freedom to weave their destinies. But as Alex and Jordan delved deeper into the mystery of the strings, their journey led them to a forgotten part of the woods that bordered Everdale, a place where the air felt charged with an ancient, unseen power. This was where they discovered the entrance to an underground lair, hidden beneath the gnarled roots of a tree that seemed as old as time itself. The passage down was narrow, forcing them to descend one at a time into the darkness that swallowed the light from their flashlights. The cavern they emerged into was vast, its walls alive with the pulsating glow of countless strings, each one vibrating with the essence of a life from the world above. In the heart of this chamber stood a circle of imps, their eyes glowing with a knowledge as deep and unfathomable as the abyss itself. The impis communicated not with words but with visions, revealing the origin of the strings and their purpose to guide humanity, to weave the fabric of fate and protect the world from descending into chaos. Alex and Jordan, standing firm in the face of this revelation, argued for the value of free will, of living a life unbound by predestined paths. Their passionate plea seemed to resonate within the cavern, stirring a moment of silent contemplation among the imps. After what felt like an eternity, the imps offered a compromise, a test. Everdale would be free from the strings for 1 year, a trial to witness the true nature of human freedom. Returning to the surface, the transformation of Everdale was immediate. The strings had vanished, leaving behind a sense of unrestrained freedom. But with this freedom came a creeping uncertainty. The absence of the strings felt like a void, a silence too profound, hinting at the chaos that lurked beneath the veneer of autonomy. As the year unfolded, Everdale transformed. Without the guidance of the strings, some thrived, emboldened by their newfound independence, while others spiraled into confusion and despair. Alex and Jordan watched this unfold with a growing sense of dread. The experiment, meant to liberate, instead began to unravel the fabric of their community. The climax approached as the year neared its end. The town, once a harmonious symphony of interconnected lives, now echoed with the dissonance of unchecked freedoms. And then, as suddenly as they had disappeared, the strings returned. But their return brought no relief instead. It was a chilling affirmation of the imp's control, a reminder that the experiment was merely a momentary lapse in an eternal design. In the wake of this realization, Alex awoke one morning to find the strings gone, the events of the past year feeling distant, like fragments of a dream. Jordan, too, seemed to recall their adventures as nothing more than a shared anomaly, a figment of their imagination. The town of Everdale buzzed with its usual, untroubled rhythm, untouched by the chaos of the experiment. But as Alex walked through the streets, a deep, unsettling feeling took root. Everywhere they looked, the remnants of the strings lingered in the corner of their vision, a constant reminder of the imp's unseen presence. The people around Alex, including Jordan, moved through life with a blissful ignorance, but Alex couldn't shake the feeling that their reality was but a thin veil over an abyss. The story concludes with Alex standing at the edge of town, staring into the woods where the entrance to the imp's lair once was. Now, there was nothing but dense forest, no sign of the path they had taken. A whisper of wind through the trees seemed to carry a mocking laughter, a sinister reminder of the imp's power and the illusion of freedom. As night fell, Alex turned back towards Everdale, the lights of the town flickering like stars in the distance. The question of whether their fight for free will had been real or just an elaborate illusion by the imps to teach a cruel lesson hung heavily in the air. The fear that their every action was still under the control of the strings, unseen but ever present, turned each step into a torment, a dance on the edge of a reality that could shift beneath them at any moment. And so, the story ends not with liberation, but with a haunting uncertainty of what is real and what is manipulation, a chilling reminder that some truths might be too vast for the human mind to comprehend, and some battles too complex for the heart to bear. Thank you, my friends, for watching my story to the end. I really appreciate it. Give a like to this video. If you like my story, subscribe to my channel. It motivates me to do more stories. By the way, if you have an opinion, write it in the comments below this video.